Rugby Park, on a Sunday afternoon. Not exactly the easiest place to go when you're under pressure. And that's exactly where Celtic found themselves. Coming off the back of a rough couple of weeks, with questions flying in from all directions about the board, the manager, the lack of signings, the midfield that just isn't clicking. The Hoops needed something, anything, to get things moving in the right direction. And they got it. Not in style, not with a vintage performance, but with something even more valuable in this moment. A late, scrappy, nervy, hard-earned 3 points. Delivered by none other than debutant Kelechi Iheanacho, who stepped up in the dying minutes and buried a penalty like he'd been wearing the shirt for years. Let's be honest, the game itself was forgettable. First half, dreadful, disjointed, passive, slow. The same issues we've seen time and again this season. The midfield three, McGregor, Negrin and Hatate, just doesn't work. It's too flat, too cautious, and lacks any real spark. Negrin doesn't look like a natural eight. Hatate looks a shadow of his former self, and McGregor, for all his qualities, seems to be trying to cover for both of them. It's a trio that might function in theory, but in practice, it's stalling Celtic's play and forcing us to look wide for inspiration. And thank God someone out there had a bit of imagination. Enter Sebastian Tenkai. On his debut, on that Rugby Park pitch, in front of a frustrated support, he played like he had nothing to lose. Direct, sharp, aggressive. The kind of winger Celtic fans have been crying out for. He took players on, drove to the byline, created openings where there were none. Every time he picked up the ball, you could feel a bit of electricity, a bit of hope. And that's not something we've felt in a while watching this team. Now, compare that with the other side of the pitch. Balisha, unfortunately, just hasn't got going. It's too early to write him off. That much is clear, but the difference in body language and purpose compared to Tenkai was night and day. He looked nervous, unsure, like he wasn't quite sure what role he was meant to play. And for a team already struggling with cohesion and tempo, that lack of conviction out wide is a real problem. You can chalk it up to settling in, lack of confidence, or maybe even being played out of position, but the fact is, he didn't offer much, and that's becoming a pattern. On the flip side, you've got a real bright spot in young Kobe Donovan. A debut full of effort, energy, and a bit of bravery. Was he perfect? Absolutely not. But he showed more intent than we've seen from some senior players in weeks. He got forward, tried to link up, and was the one who actually won the penalty with a smart bit of play down the right. Physically, he looks like he's ready for this level. Mentally, he doesn't seem fazed. That's all you can ask for from a young lad making his way into the first team. Defensively, it was a mixed bag. Cameron Carter-Vickers was solid enough, but clearly still building match sharpness. Scales was steady. Sriracha on the left, well, he split opinion. Some thought he was excellent. Others saw too many loose passes and risky moments. But one thing he wasn't was invisible. He was involved throughout, set up Mieta's goal with a brilliant cross, and never shied away from taking responsibility. In a game like that, you need players who want the ball, even if they're not perfect. And he gave that. And then there's the moment. The kind of moment that can define a season, or at least turn a page in one. Penalty, last few minutes, game hanging in the balance. And it's Kelechi Iheanacho who steps up. Not exactly coming in with the world's greatest CV lately. Not exactly received with open arms by the support. But he takes the ball off Callum McGregor. No small gesture, and says, "I'll take it." And then he buries it. Cold as ice. The kind of moment that makes you forget everything else for a second. The noise, the release, the relief. He went straight to the fans, and you could see in his face what that meant to him. Now imagine if he misses. Imagine the headlines. The noise. The narrative. He knew all that, but he still took it. That tells you something about his character. And maybe, just maybe, that's the spark he needed to really kickstart his Celtic career. Because there's talent there, that much we know. It's always been about confidence and rhythm with him. And that one goal could be what gets him going. It's the kind of win that doesn't fix anything, but it gives everyone a bit of breathing room. The fans got a moment to enjoy. The manager got a result he badly needed. And the players got a lift heading into a busy stretch of fixtures. The problems haven't gone away, the protests, the boardroom questions, the tactical doubts. But nights like this remind you why we put up with all of it. For the moments. For the madness. For a debutant burying a high-pressure penalty away from home and jumping into the crowd like he's just won the league. But as much as that late winner gave the traveling support something to sing about, it would be naive to pretend it papered over all the cracks. The atmosphere around Celtic right now is complicated, and not just on the pitch. The backdrop to this match wasn't just about form or selection. It was about discontent, a fan base that's restless, divided, but still desperate to support the team. That much was evident before a ball was even kicked, with a significant number of supporters choosing to stay outside for the opening stages of the match as part of an organized protest. Some waited 12 minutes before entering. Some didn't protest at all. But no matter what side of that divide fans were on, one thing was clear: the frustration runs deep. That's where things get tricky. You've got a club that feels stuck in the middle. On one hand, they're top of the league, 9 points clear of Rangers, winning games. On paper, it looks fine. But the performances, the recruitment strategy, the lack of spark in midfield, the messy summer window, it's all left fans questioning whether this Celtic side has what it takes to compete beyond domestic competition. And that's a fair concern. Because even while we're picking up results, the football's often sluggish, risk-averse, and short of the kind of identity you'd expect from a Brendan Rodgers team. And it's not just the football. The wider structure of the club feels under scrutiny too. From boardroom decisions to how transfer targets are identified and signed, there's a growing sense that Celtic have lost their edge off the park as well. That's what's fueling these protests. It's not just a reaction to one or two bad results. It's about the bigger picture, about the direction the club is heading, about the belief that we're standing still while others look to move forward. Yet despite all of that, what you saw on Sunday was a support still capable of backing their team to the end. When that ball hit the net in the final minutes, the away end erupted. All the noise, all the tension, all the debate, it gave way to pure joy. That's what football does. It gives you those moments where everything else melts away, if only for a while. And the players responded to that. You could see it in the celebrations, in the way they embraced the fans, in the raw emotion that poured out. That connection, no matter how strained it's been recently, is still there. It just needs to be nurtured. The interesting thing is, it's hard to find a consensus among the fan base right now. Even the protest itself was a bit of a microcosm of that. Around a third of the stand was empty at kickoff. The rest were in early. Some supported the idea but couldn't bring themselves to miss part of the game. Others disagreed with the method entirely. It's a reminder that Celtic, as a club, is too big and too diverse to ever move entirely in one direction. But what matters is the unity of purpose, and that still exists. Everyone wants a better Celtic. The disagreement is just in how to get there. And maybe that's why these next few weeks feel so important. We're entering a run of fixtures that could either solidify our position or expose further weaknesses. There's the trip to Belgrade, a test that will show whether this squad has the backbone to survive in Europe. Then it's back home for a run of league games where dropping points simply isn't an option. That's when we'll find out what this team is made of and whether Rodgers has the answers. Now, speaking of Rodgers, it's been a mixed bag from the manager this season. He said all the right things, and in fairness, his press conferences have been some of the best we've seen. Measured, thoughtful, even inspiring at times. But on the pitch, the football hasn't quite matched up. There's a sense that he's still figuring out his best 11, still looking for the right blend in midfield, still waiting for new signings to fully click. That's understandable to a point, but Celtic don't afford much time for transitions. The expectations are always sky high, and even the manager himself has admitted that the team needs to improve. That brings us back to the midfield. It's the heart of any Rodgers team, and right now, it's just not functioning. The trio of McGregor, Hatate, and Negrin offers plenty of technical quality, but lacks balance. There's not enough creativity, not enough speed, and definitely not enough bite. Negrin in particular looks like a player caught between roles. Not quite a 10, not quite an 8. He gets into decent areas and has an eye for goal, but he's not the one you want unlocking a deep block with a killer pass. Hatate, meanwhile, still feels like he's playing within himself. And McGregor, for all his experience and composure, is being asked to do far too much. It's no surprise then that there are growing calls to reintroduce Ari Engels into the mix. The Belgian hasn't lived up to the hype so far, but he brings a physical presence and a bit of mobility that's sorely lacking. His energy could free up McGregor and give the midfield a bit more structure. You'd also hope that Bernardo might get a run at some point, though Rodgers clearly has his doubts there. Even younger players like Luke McCarron are getting minutes now, and while he's still raw, he at least brings a bit of urgency and drive that this team badly needs. The frustrating thing is that the options are there, they just haven't been used consistently. There's a sense that the manager is still experimenting, still trying to find the right combination. But time is ticking. The league table might look good now, but performances like the first half at Rugby Park won't cut it long term. Celtic need to dominate games, not scrape through them. It's also fair to say that this team misses a functioning inverted fullback. For all the criticism Greg Taylor took last season, his ability to step into midfield and break lines with his passing was vital. Right now, neither Sirachi nor Johnston are playing that role, and it's hurting the build-up. The fullbacks feel isolated, the midfield feels congested, and the wingers often end up trying to beat 2 or 3 players without support. That has to change if we're going to see the kind of fluid attacking play Rodgers is known for. In terms of personnel, though, there are signs of hope. Mietta continues to pop up with vital goals and that relentless work rate that has made him a fan favorite. Tinky looks like a real gem. Kobe Donovan showed promise. And Kelechi, well, that goal might just be the confidence boost he needed. It wasn't just the finish, it was the courage to take it. That shows leadership, and if he can build on it, he might still have a big role to play this season. But again, one goal doesn't solve everything. Celtic are still a team in transition, still looking for rhythm, still trying to find a balance between youth and experience, between flair and structure. And all of that is playing out against a backdrop of fan unrest and boardroom tension. It's not the easiest environment to thrive in, but it's also not the first time the club has faced this kind of situation. What matters now is how we respond, how the team responds, how Rodgers responds. Because in Scottish football, there's no time to breathe. One result can flip the narrative, and the pressure never really goes away. Celtic might be top of the table, but nobody's fooled into thinking this team is anywhere near its potential. The talent is there. The raw pieces are there. But unless it all comes together, and soon, that 9-point gap will mean very little come the end of the season. The games are coming thick and fast now, and the time for excuses is running out. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. Rumors have been swirling all week, and now it seems the whispers in Glasgow's football circles are turning into reality. DAIZEN Mietta is reportedly set to leave Celtic, with strong links emerging that he has signed for Borussia Dortmund. The Japanese forward, who has dazzled Parkhead with his pace and knack for finding the net, has long been on the radar of several European heavyweights. But the Dortmund move would mark a huge step up in his career, and no doubt a bittersweet moment for the boys' faithful. Sources close to the club suggest that negotiations have been underway for some time, though Celtic officials have remained tight-lipped, refusing to confirm or deny the speculation. If true, Maeda's departure would leave a significant gap in Ange Postecoglou's attacking lineup, particularly as the squad gears up for another grueling campaign in both the Scottish Premiership and European competitions. Fans have taken to social media with mixed reactions, some heartbroken at losing a talisman, others excited for the Japanese star to test himself in the Bundesliga. Dortmund, meanwhile, appear to be quietly confident of securing Maeda's signature. The German side has a reputation for nurturing young talents and turning them into world-class performers, which may have proved irresistible for the forward. Rumors suggest the deal could be worth a substantial fee, with Mietta signing a multi-year contract, signaling Dortmund's serious intent to strengthen their attacking options. If the move goes through, it won't just be a new chapter for Mietta, but a statement that Bundesliga clubs are increasingly looking to Asia for exciting, technically gifted talent. While nothing is officially confirmed, the buzz is palpable. Scottish tabloids are already speculating about who might step into Maeda's boots at Celtic, with several names being tossed around, though nothing concrete has emerged. For now, it seems Parkhead is bracing itself for the possibility of saying goodbye to one of its most electric forwards in recent memory. As the summer transfer window continues to simmer, one thing is clear. If the Mietta to Dortmund rumor proves true, it's going to be a story that dominates Scottish and German football chatter for weeks to come. Hello, fan. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.